Welcome back, everyone, to yet another session of Leadership Chronicles. Today we have a very distinguished guest with us, Jay. Welcome, Jay, to this forum. We will continue our journey of these conversations with the senior-most leaders of the bank to understand their journey, how they have kind of, traversed through their professional journey with the bank, and how they've kind of maneuvered their way through different business cycles, what have been their key successes, how they've managed to build scale with strict governance frameworks. And I think that is something that we will dwell today more and also know you more as a person. Just a quick introduction about Jay. Jay has been with the bank for now close to 25 plus years. Currently in his current capacity, he is working as the business head for the VRM channel, Video KYC, and the VBRM channels. He leads a team of close to about 3,000 strong workforce that he manages. Has been extremely effective in terms of driving better customer experience levels and building scale in the virtual channel so far. I think he's also been quite engaging in terms of managing very, very large teams, diverse teams, and has made sure that the channel contributes significantly to the overall bank's business volume. So welcome, Jay, today.
Thank you.
And with that, today I'd also quickly introduce my colleague Raj, who's also joining me and shall be working with me today, alongside to really ask Jay and know more about Jay's journey. So to begin with, I think, Jay, my first question to you is that, you've spent more than 2 decades with HDFC Bank now, and what has been the most defining milestone for you in terms of your journey so far?
Well, yeah, so before I answer the question, warm wishes to everyone who's joined in. And of course, both Jasjit and Raj are kind of friends that you can count on, especially when business is down. Yeah. So I think it's been a brilliant journey so far, and thank you everybody for that. But so in terms of the journey in the bank so far. So yeah, you're right, it's 25 plus years. While VRM is a recent addition, I was handling virtual care that included phone banking, email, social media,
right,
chat, and the escalation desk or the regulatory desks. So put together, it's been a fantastic journey. Now, to look at the defining milestones, well, in these kind of journeys, every day defines you a little bit. There is a change, a little bit of that keeps happening. But if I were to really look at the most recent one, that was the contact center transformation that we embarked on as a bank.
Yeah.
So around 22 for about 2.5 years, we went after it, and this entire team of about 4,000 of us,
right,
we decided that we'll redefine the way the bank customers experience service. So that was amazing. I think it was contemporarization of service. So we had quite a lot of ground to cover. And what we did was, we as a team, we actually looked at the global benchmarks and said, how do we get there? Right? So I think it's been fantastic. That was very, very fulfilling kind of a milestone to have reached. And it's not a milestone really. It's always there are moving goalposts, and there's always a new set of things to do. But the team that's currently taking it forward is doing a very, very good job as well. Right. So that's, I think, one milestone. But I think more than just such milestones, the most rewarding, if that's what you mean by that question, is that stories that you hear from customers, from the employees. In fact, whenever I go across and travel, so there is always this young 22-something guy or a girl who comes up saying how the bank, how she is transformed or he is transformed, how thanks to what has happened after they joined the bank, they've been able to bring about a big change in their own lives. Whether it's they've probably been able to educate a younger sibling, or possibly have somebody get married off. So some of these things are far, far more rewarding as a leader, to say that all of us have contributed a little bit to somebody's life. be that of a customer or employee. So that I think is far more defining than any other milestone.
Absolutely, and I think I quite agree. It's been, for people, amongst our workforce, which is a pretty large number, I think transformation in terms of their lives and their livelihoods and how people have grown and the scale that the bank really kind of provides and the platform it gives, I think it's quite phenomenal. So I think well said, yeah.
So Jay, coming to...
before you ask the question, Raj, I have a question for you.
For me?
Right. So how's the podcast journey going on, and how is this transition from Raj Pancholia to Raj Shamani happening?
So Jay, this is the fourth one for me, and it is the first time which I've been doing, and definitely it is encouraging and a lot of learnings from it.
Sure.
And meeting people like you and learning is something which I always encourage, that every day I need to learn something. Okay? So these learnings stay with us for a long time.
Absolutely.
So Jay, you've scaled both the customer care and the virtual relationships to high intensity channels. So what are the leadership lessons which have stayed with you in this journey?
Yeah. So while yes, you're right, they are high intensity channels, and especially in a bank like ours, which is at the forefront, it's always something happening every hour, every day. There's something happening. But so essentially, while these look different, I think fundamentally it's the fundamental truth is still the same, that a happy customer is a good business,
Right.
and a happy employee is a happy customer. Right? As long as leadership, I think we provide the consistency and a fair environment for everybody to flourish, prosper, it pretty much takes care of the rest. I think we have very, very good people. We have extremely strong processes, and I think put together, there is absolutely, as leadership, we probably are the most at ease, okay? Because, and regardless of which unit that you transit from and into, I think some of these things have remained constant, and that's huge.
Yeah, I think well said. I think, and the point what you made, that we are a large, customer-based team, and customer comes first is something which always I believe this bank has been following. And that's how we have been becoming large. The stickiness of the customers has always been.
Correct. And just to, if you were to really look at it, one thing which I see there's a lot around in the bank is about humility.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know if I may. There is this verse from the Hitopadesha which says, Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayat yati patra, patritva dhanam apnuti, dhanat dharmam tatha sukham. What it essentially means is that Vidya, which is knowledge or learning, okay, it gives you the humility. And from that humility, you gather ability. You become capable because you are humble.
Right.
Not because you know something, because the knowledge only teaches you humility. Right? From that, you get your ability. From that ability, as well as carrying out what you're supposed to do, is how you create value. And this would have been, this would have probably been written thousands of years back. Okay? But if you look at it, it is the essence. It is what it really is. And I think as leaders, if we can create that culture of humility, create that place where everybody is able to prosper, get nurtured, that's essentially what leadership should be all about. And for me, to answer that question you asked, that's what it has been so far.
Well said.
So Jay, we've been working extremely closely over the last year or so, in your channel particularly. But I think as an individual, as a leader, we've always seen you as a very structured, very data-driven, very, very sharp in terms of your insights, not just for your own teams, but for partners at large like us. So how do you, balance analytics with, the human element in terms of your approach as a leader? Especially when it comes to, because we are in a B2C business, dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis. So how do you think, what is the right kind of a balance in terms of, the data part of it versus the human side of it in terms of how you drive the outcomes.
Yeah, so as I say, in God we trust, everybody else brings data. So to an extent, that's what it is. But if I were to really look at it, data tells you what, okay? But the human values or the empathy,
Right.
it tells you why. So you may look at it and say, this is what it looks like, but why does it look like this way? Comes from having understood that. So there is no, I think these complement each other. Without data, you're generally kind of rudderless in the sea. But this combined, I mean, only with data would be, probably you'd be a little off in your decisions, because ultimately it's about working with people.
Yeah.
People make it all happen.
Right.
So I'll just give you an example. So let's say productivity. Okay, so we are all so, we chase productivity. We want, as corporates, all of us do that. But if you really see, so there was this example in one of our units, and we had a senior citizen customer. She had just lost her husband, okay, and both her children, both her sons, in fact, were abroad, and she was running pillar to post because at the corporation there was an error that somebody made in one of the records. Okay, I think it was red certificate, some record, and as a result, her whole account closure, transfer, everything was, and for a senior citizen, it can be harrowing because they don't really understand a lot of things. So I had this RM who went across, met the customer, went with her to the bank, went with her to the corporation office,
Right.
okay, and made sure that that correction, which otherwise would have taken a long time, got done in 8 days. And the reason why there was no urgency around it was she was supposed to be traveling the following month to her sons. I mean, so now so the point, and in fact, she wrote back after that, saying that this is the daughter I never had. Okay, now that's so what are we talking here? So if look at it from a productivity sense,
Right.
now you may also look at saying, why would somebody go to the field, and
Right.
you probably are missing out on productivity. But as leaders, I think if we have to encourage this. I would want every single connect, every single relationship to be such that you're totally taking care of your customer. So productivity is a means to the end. The end is ultimately a happy customer, and if this is what it takes, this is what it takes.
Yeah.
So for us to be able to do that, consistently, for us to create that culture, okay, where everybody feels encouraged to do that, and data does not deter them from
Yeah.
being human,
Yeah.
okay, is a very, very important challenge. And I think we should there's still a lot of distance that all of us have to go.
Right.
But I think the way we need to look at it is as complementary attributes and not
Right.
really, one over the other.
Right. I think quite well said, and I think it's all about the overall customer delight as well. I mean, in this particular case that you cited, I think the person was looking to support, and therefore, because of that positivity with the customer, it stays with him or her, kind of then takes, and the employee benefits in terms of the transactions which were to be carried over. So I think I quite agree to that, and I've seen a lot of such examples within, on our floors where I have seen, and in fact, when it comes to even my own virtual relationship manager, I haven't ever seen, him. It's just that I'm always on the call, but the kind of conversations we end up striking, we talk about everything. I mean, and a lot of times he knows that I like and I have a natural interest in cars. Every time he'll keep nudging me, sir, now you can get the loan at this rate. So all I'm saying is they are part of our lives. It's not just the banking transactions. So I think I quite agree with that.
So, Jay, as the virtual relationships deepen across customer segments, how do you see the HDFC Bank and HDFC Life partnership shaping future growth opportunities?
Well, I think the 4 letters HDFC says it all. It's been 25 plus some, okay, and I believe that the kind of the range of products we bring in, the kind of service that we bring in, the kind of great leadership both organizations have. I mean, I'm beyond impressed in the last year or so that I've been interacting with. Even with every CSM, every FLS, they continue to, they give you the impression that they know what they're doing, and I'm sure that's because they really know what they're doing, right? So as I see it, it's been great 25 years of partnership. And we are today as a country perhaps close to 4 trillion as an economy, 4 trillion USD. We should be going from 4 trillion to maybe 8 trillion in the next 10 years or so at current rates. Now, so what you're doing is, whatever you did in about 79 years since 1947, you'll probably do it in the next 10 years. Now, what that means is your per capita income goes up probably from about 2,500, 3,000 to maybe 5,000, 6,000. And that essentially, and what you will see as a result of that is the entire financialization of assets. And when you have assets, you would need to have protection. Okay, exactly the kind of space at which that we are going to be kind of having this confluence. So I'm sure as we go along, okay, the kind of big hits that we will see, kind of resonance we will see with the larger population of the country is going to be far greater, because I don't think there is, frankly, employed here or not, but I don't see there is anybody even close to HDFC in terms of the sheer brand pull that we carry.
Yeah.
So I believe, and as I said earlier, beyond impressed with the kind of leadership that HDFC Life brings to the table. And it's no wonder that maybe 65 to 70% of all of our business is garnered by HDFC Life, and that's primarily the way I see it.
Thank you that you observed that we have a good team, and definitely we will. Our endeavors are to keep the skill building on,
Yeah.
so that we can have good leaders organically grow within the organization.
Correct. And so I've been pushing Raj for more F2F, face-to-face. I did not realize that he will make me sit here and do a face-to-face just for this. But even on that front, I think we've started to do very well.
Yeah.
We got to go further.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Jay, I think especially when it comes to the preferred and inferior VRM portfolios, these are customers with high expectations, and what competencies would you think, or would you consider rather, are critical for VRMs to succeed in terms of managing these kind of customer portfolios?
Yeah. So Jasjit, I believe there is a very strong, it's ultimately relationships. Okay. I would want my RM to make sure that the customer knows that he's on or she's on his corner, on the customer's corner. Very, very important. Okay. The rest of it are very replicable. Okay. But I think we are also, while that is on one side and that is the core of what we do, the other things around it are very important. And I'll tell you, one is, of course, the kind of profile of VRMs we have, the kind of commitment that they bring to the table, and importantly, the kind of the amount of knowledge that they carry, the interventions. We have an excellent training and quality team, and the kind of interventions that we are able to bring in every now and then, which definitely raises the bar both for learning and application of that learning. I think those are very, very important. And in terms of sheer competence, okay, for inferior segment, there's a difference, but essentially between both inferior and preferred, I think we have seen excellent set of RMs who have been taking care of the customers very well. The other part, which is also very important, is continuity. So I think in terms of, it's important that an RM has the vintage, is interfacing with the customer over a longer period of time. And there again, I think we have one of the lowest attritions today, perhaps in the bank itself.
Yeah.
And that just reflects not only that of course adds to the quality of the whole relationship management piece, it also reflects very well on the leadership, both the type and the caliber of leadership, and of course the training and support functions that work with us.
Right.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So Jay, over the last 1 year or so, we've been interacting, and whenever I attend Teams review with you, you go in a lot of depth and to understand where the problem lies. There are large teams which you are handling. How do you maintain a work-life balance with so much of reviews which you would be doing across your teams as well as the third-party partners, and how does an ideal day look like?
Ideal working day or off day?
You can tell us both.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying this is the right way, but I do believe, for me the boundaries are a little blurred. Okay? So I'm definitely not this switch off personality who switches off home when here. While I tell people to do that, but I think it's a continuum. Okay, you as a person progress from one to the other. All right. So to that extent, I do see. So the balance for me is to be able to make sure everything is in its place, and that for me is far more comforting than having a complete break. And it might be because before this I was handling a 24/7 shop,
Right.
okay, and where anything that could happen would affect you.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the reason why, but essentially that is. So for me, a good day at work will be a series of things where you are making little bit of the progress. I am in this 1% camp, which says that you can improve everything 1% every day at least. If little, that slow progress every day, as long as it's adding meaningfully to that, I think that is a good day for me. Personally, when I head back home, my ideal day off will be a day playing with the kids, okay, and of course, if I can get a kind of nook and catch up on my reading, I think that will be something which should be great. So these are two things. These are often not happening, but I think an ideal off day will be that.
That's nice.
Yeah. So Jay, you come from a very strong background, of science. How do you, how's that as a background help you in terms of having a very structured thinking, and has influenced, your approach in your corporate life towards, problem solving, decision making, and also leading large virtual teams?
So I think it's true, as Mark Twain said, don't let school interfere with your education. So I'm in that camp. What it means is that I like to read books on science, whether it's Roger Penrose or Richard Feynman. These are some of my favorite. They are physicists, but more importantly, there is a certain approach to life, okay, which is amazing. They're amazing people more than scientists. But to answer the question, I think science brings a certain rigor. Science, what you call the scientific temper, to be able to question and to not accept an answer just because it's the easiest or most convenient one, is a very important one. To question, to challenge your own hypothesis, go back there, understand whether data is supporting it or not. It's a very, very important. So but there are, I think this is just one part of it. I am more than science, I would like to have a multidisciplinary approach to it. So for instance, some of the best leadership lessons, a recent book that I picked up called The Anarchy by William Dalrymple. It has nothing to do with science, but it's got the 200 years of the British establishment of British rule in India, right? It's an amazing book in terms of, and it tells you how those small people dynamics, how small things add up and become what they are. So to that extent, I think science helps you to stay open to new ideas, everything that's coming up, and you therefore look at your problems differently, hopefully come up with different solutions.
So there was a recent article which I was reading on the LinkedIn with respect to the artificial intelligence. So one of the organizations has utilized this in their call centers and generated more leads basis the requirements of the customer, and they've seen an upsurge in sales. In virtual relationships, okay, particularly the preferred and inferior segments, okay, what do you expect high personalized, seamless and insight-led interactions coming in from AI?
Yeah, so that's anyway the hot topic.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't think any conversation of anybody nowadays, goes without AI. So, but I think see there are two things in our roles or for VRM specifically. There is a hard skilling and there is a soft skilling. Right? So we tend to give them the processes, the systems, the technology for them to be able to refer, okay, and possibly answer or support their customer to the maximum, okay? Provide them solutions and so on and so forth. And then there's soft skills, how you come across, how much of empathy you have when you're having that conversation. Are you able to resonate with the customer? These are two things where I see on both areas we see AI to be able to play a role. And one is in hard skilling. Rather than having to navigate through pages, etc., okay, we should be able to provide to the RM, to the relationship manager, the right response which is reasonably there. Okay? I'm sure there will always be a human element in kind of modifying it or customizing it to the requirement. But that is one part of it. So hard skilling would not need the same kind of rigor that we do. That gives us the ability to focus more on the soft skills. Okay? And when I say more on the soft skills, again AI plays a role. The kind of rigor which we can bring in terms of training, the kind of practice sessions that we would otherwise have had, all these today we have the potential to have it automated. In some of these functions, for instance, we do have rudimentary set of things that are already working, and I can tell you that the results have been fantastic. Okay? There's the other question which I invariably come across: what happens to jobs in the phase of AI, etc. And I think that's again the way we possibly one way to look at it is that yes, there will be. I don't see it anywhere close to replacing the role of a human being, but it does add a lot of value in the manner that I spoke to just now. So more than AI replacing, AI definitely would complement. The other thing is there is something very deep about human relationships, okay, where it's a little beyond what you know. Okay? It's not about how smart you are; it's how much emotionally are we in sync with each other. So I think that part of it is far more. For instance, an AI might do a robo enabled with AI might do fantastic dancing. Okay? But would I be? I mean, how much ever great that is? Am I going to look at it, or possibly you can synthesize a great sound and becomes a great musical piece? But am I? I will still probably go back and look at the human side of it. Given all its pitfalls or failures that might exist, I'll still want to have that. So there are some areas where it might not, some areas it might, but again, it might more add to our capabilities and take away.
Yeah, I quite agree, and that's what we keep discussing amongst us also. I think things which are templatized activities, so to say, will maybe move to more intelligent ways of doing things, particularly supported through AI.
Yeah.
And I think things where look and feel and where you need that, as you mentioned, the personal touch of it, I think will continue to be led by. So I think it's a right combination to have, obviously leading to better efficiencies in terms of managing tasks. So I think I quite agree to that. So moving on, I think you spoke about you like reading a lot, and what's that one book which has really shaped your leadership philosophy? And on the book topic itself, what is that one book that you read to unwind?
Oh, okay. So I think from a purely reading standpoint, we have seen that especially when it comes to leadership and things like that, I normally don't read leadership books. Okay, I find far more of it in fiction or maybe non-fiction. So I'm not so much of a fan of it, and possibly, and things change, things evolve. So when I started my career, there was this gentleman called Jack Welch, okay, who was probably the last word, and we used to have 2-day programs on his methods and stuff. And over the years, the epithet of Neutron Jack, right? And we've seen that how that went. Okay? So I think every day our thoughts are filtered through these books and various of our own experiences when it comes to it. But just since the question is asked, I will. There's one book which impressed me very much very recently, and that was the Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. Okay, amazing. It is basically, I don't know whether I'm supposed to use the word, but no BS. Okay, it is absolutely, it puts things as they are and as they should be, and it is about facing things head on.
Right.
Okay, and coming to an end to it, and so there's no lingering on. That's one. Secondly, it talks about how it's more a psychological task for the leader, okay, to develop that resilience and to be what in Sanskrit they call it Sthita Prajna. In Gita they call it Sthita Prajna. Basically, where the sky and the clouds come and go. Okay, so your ability to stay calm while the whole thing is in and around you in some kind of a flurry, that's very important. So this book I've been recommending to whoever is listening that it's a must read. Just to answer the question on unwind. So as I said, I can't read these kind of books to unwind. There's a go-to author called P.G. Wodehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a major fan, and when things get too tough or too intense, okay, the book to unwind with is P.G. Wodehouse. All his books.
So we'll definitely maybe get a copy of it and try and go through it.
Yeah, sure. I have the full collection. So
okay.
I might lend you.
Okay. Yeah. Then we'll be more than keen.
But we don't know the time when we'll complete it.
So these are short volumes, but amazing.
So Jay, that brings me to the last question. What's your go-to movie or series when you have to relax after a long day or maybe on a long week?
Oh, okay. So there is this joke. I'm allowed to joke?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are two goats who are eating celluloid. Okay, the film in which movies are made, eating celluloid. So one says, "Hey, not bad." Says the other one says, "No, I think the book was better." Okay, so I am more in that second goat's camp. I prefer to read then, and I find that what is on the screen doesn't often match what's in your head when you're reading a book. Okay, but having said that, I do have. I wait for that. Maybe the 20th recommendation from somebody to say you must watch this before I really watch. And a lot of it, since I love Malayalam films and I understand the language, I do find that the kind of work that they do in that part of the country is really, really awesome. So that's one. But off and on, here and there, I do watch. Maybe the last one you would be surprised at how ancient I am. Then is the one which is the last one was that Christopher. What is it? Interstellar. That was the last movie I watched. So can you imagine?
Okay. Good. So I think with that we are now towards the close of the session, and thank you so much for taking time out. And I think it's always a pleasure talking to you and listening to you. And I'm sure the audiences at large have today benefited really in terms of knowing your journey and some of the things you mentioned around, not just your own leadership style, but the very fact that how you drive large teams, what is in it for people to not get afraid of AI, and how to best utilize it, and how things have to be taken up in terms of the growth aspects from a virtual relationship manager standpoint as well, in terms of managing customer segments that you really cater to. So I think great enriching session, and thank you so much for that and joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jasjit. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.